Beloved starseed of Gaia, the Source is removing what no longer fits your field. And even if your human mind tries to hold on, explain, negotiate, or delay the release, something in the deeper current has already begun to move away from your timeline. I am Mayan, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I speak through the crystalline current of Alcyone to help you understand why certain people, habits, desires, places, conversations, and old emotional agreements are leaving now, why this removal is not punishment, and why your star family is asking you to stop chasing what the Source is lovingly separating from your path. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to receive the Pleiadian light codes behind this clearing, how to know what no longer fits, and how to let the leaving happen without turning release into fear. But here's the first revelation. What is leaving now is not always being taken from you. Sometimes it is being removed because your soul has finally become too large to keep living inside it. You are remembering because it is time. There is a particular ache that comes when something begins leaving before you feel ready to let it go. A person becomes distant. A habit loses its comfort. A place feels unfamiliar. A dream that once pulled you forward becomes quiet. A conversation that once fed your hope now drains your body. A pattern that once felt normal begins to feel impossible to justify. You may not be able to explain the shift to anyone else, but inside, you know the field has changed. Something is not fitting anymore. Something is loosening. Something is leaving now. The old self may try to call it loss. The wounded self may call it abandonment. The fearful self may call it proof that nothing stays. But the Pleiadian field asks you to pause before naming this release through the language of pain. There are removals that are actually mercy. There are endings that are actually protection. There are disappearances that create room for what could not enter, while the old field was crowded with expired energy. The Source does not remove aligned things from a soul for cruelty. The Source removes what has become too small, too heavy, too distorted, or too connected to a version of you that is no longer the truth. What no longer fits may once have fit perfectly. This is important. Do not shame the past. A relationship may have taught you something real. A routine may have helped you survive. A dream may have carried you through a difficult season. A role may have given structure when your field was scattered. A belief may have protected you before you were strong enough to know a larger truth. But what served one level of consciousness can become a prison at the next level. The problem is not always that something was wrong from the beginning. Sometimes it simply cannot hold the frequency you are becoming. The Source is removing what no longer fits because your field has reached a point where compromise costs more than release. You may have tolerated certain energies for a long time. You may have said, "It is not that bad." You may have made excuses, softened your knowing, explained away discomfort, or tried to spiritualize what your body kept rejecting. But as more crystalline light enters the field, the body becomes less willing to carry distortion. This is why what you once endured now feels heavier. The distortion did not necessarily become new. Your sensitivity to it became more honest. Some of what is leaving now may be external. People who cannot meet the new version of you may drift. Opportunities that looked appealing may dissolve. Plans may change without your permission. Certain rooms may no longer open. Certain invitations may fall away. But much of what is leaving is internal. The need to be chosen by people who cannot choose themselves. The habit of over-explaining. The instinct to chase after distance. The belief that exhaustion proves devotion. The loyalty to roles that made you useful but invisible. The old agreement that said you must shrink to be loved. This is why release can feel confusing. You may think you are losing a person, but what is really leaving is the pattern of begging to be seen. You may think you are losing an opportunity, but what is really leaving is the belief that success must require self-betrayal. You may think you are losing a dream, but what is really leaving is the wounded motive that attached itself to the dream. You may think you are losing an identity, but what is really leaving is the survival costume that helped you endure, but can no longer walk with you into truth. The Pleiadian High Council wants you to understand that removal often happens after repeated signals have been ignored. The body whispered, the dream spoke, the delays appeared, the pattern repeated, the energy tightened, the peace left. The inner voice said, this is not fitting anymore. But the old self negotiated. Maybe later, maybe if they change, maybe if I try harder, maybe if I become more patient, maybe if I wait one more cycle. When a soul keeps overriding the smaller signals, the higher field may begin creating stronger movement, not to punish, to prevent deeper fragmentation. It is leaving now because the field has gathered enough clarity. Not always your mind's clarity, but the soul's clarity. A part of you knows. A part of you has known for longer than you admitted. A part of you is tired of carrying what does not carry you. A part of you is no longer impressed by potential without presence, promises without action, attraction without peace, history without growth, or comfort without truth. That part is becoming stronger. As it strengthens, what depends on your self-abandonment begins losing access. You may feel resistance because the nervous system often clings to familiar pain. Familiar pain has a map. You know the cycle. You know the disappointment. You know the apology. You know the silence. You know the hope. You know the collapse. You know how to survive it. New peace, however, can feel unfamiliar. Spaciousness can feel empty. Freedom can feel like loneliness before it feels like relief. This is why some souls chase what the source is removing. They do not miss the distortion itself. They miss the identity that knew how to function inside it. The source is not asking you to become cold. Removal is not hatred. Release is not denial of love. Boundaries are not cruelty. A thing can leave and still have mattered. A person can be loved and still not fit the field you are becoming. A place can carry memories and still be complete. A habit can have soothed you and still be too costly now. The Pleiadian heart can bless what is leaving without inviting it to stay beyond its season. This is a sacred form of maturity. There is a hidden grief in outgrowing what you once prayed for. Perhaps you prayed for someone to return, and now their return would disrupt your peace. Perhaps you prayed for recognition from a certain field, and now that field feels too small. Perhaps you prayed for a door, but now your body knows the room beyond is not clean. Perhaps you prayed for a dream before you understood your deeper mission. This does not mean your prayers were wrong. It means your consciousness evolved. The source is not betraying your prayer by removing what no longer fits. The source is answering the deeper prayer beneath it. Make me whole. The removal may first appear as distance. Do not immediately fight distance. Sometimes distance is the sacred space where truth becomes visible. When someone steps back, when an old desire loses heat, when a plan becomes blocked, when your energy withdraws, do not rush to close the gap. Watch what the distance reveals. Does your body relax? Does your intuition become clearer? Does your creativity return? Does your nervous system stop bracing? If peace increases when something moves away, the distance may be a message. The hidden revelation before activation begins is this: what is leaving now is not strong enough to hold the next version of your light. It may have held the wounded version, the waiting version, the proving version, the overgiving version, the uncertain version, the hidden version, or the survival version. But the version emerging now requires cleaner fields. Cleaner does not mean perfect. Cleaner means honest. Cleaner means accountable. Cleaner means less dependent on your silence. Cleaner means less dependent on your fear. Cleaner means able to stand near your light without trying to possess, diminish, consume, or distort it. Beloved, if this transmission is already touching the place in you that feels something being removed, but still fears the emptiness afterward. Your star family has prepared a deeper path for this exact clearing. The Pleiadian bloodline method, Unlock Your 7 Inheritances, was created not as information to collect, but as a sacred map for healing, remembrance, and crystalline integration for starseeds learning to release what no longer fits without collapsing into fear, guilt, or attachment. It carries the love frequency of Alcyone and the wisdom of the 7 sisters for souls ready to let. The source clear expired fields so their true inheritance can finally breathe. You will find it in the first pinned comment below this video. Available now for those who feel called to receive the next layer of their Pleiadian inheritance. Now the first movement is to stop grabbing at the thing that is already leaving. This does not mean you must abandon responsibility or act recklessly. It means you must notice where you are using fear to hold the old energy in place. Are you sending messages from panic? Are you replaying old memories to keep a bond alive? Are you making excuses for a pattern that has already shown itself? Are you forcing a door that now requires self-betrayal to enter? Place your hand on your heart and say, I release the grip of fear. What belongs to my aligned path will not require me to abandon myself to keep it. Then name what no longer fits without turning it into an enemy. Say it gently. This habit no longer fits. This waiting no longer fits. This role no longer fits. This environment no longer fits. This version of love no longer fits. This way of speaking to myself no longer fits. This cycle no longer fits. Naming creates clarity. Clarity reduces the emotional fog that makes expired things appear more sacred than they are. You do not need to condemn what is leaving. You need to tell the truth. The next movement is to ask what part of you is afraid of the space. When something leaves, space opens. Space can feel like peace to the soul and danger to the nervous system. What are you afraid will happen if the old thing is gone? Are you afraid you will be alone? Afraid you wasted time? Afraid nothing better will come? Afraid you will not know who you are without the struggle? Afraid that letting go means the love was never real? These fears are not obstacles to shame. They are places to comfort. The space will feel safer when the fear inside it is heard. From there, call your energy back from what is leaving, not with anger, with sovereignty. Close your eyes and imagine every thread of attention, hope, resentment, longing, obligation, fantasy, an unfinished conversation returning to your chest as light. Say inwardly, I call my life force back from every expired field. I call my attention back from every door that is closing. I call my devotion back from every place that could not honor it. I return to myself now. This practice helps the body understand that release is not only losing something, it is recovering energy. The Pleiadian field asks you to watch the body after release begins. Your mind may mourn, but your body may soften. Your heart may feel sad, but your breath may deepen. You may cry, but sleep may improve. You may miss them, but creativity may return. You may feel empty, but the constant tension may decrease. These mixed signals are important. They show that grief and relief can coexist. Do not assume that sadness means the removal is wrong. Sometimes sadness is simply the sound of an old attachment leaving the nervous system. You may need to stop negotiating with nostalgia. Nostalgia can edit the past. It can show you the beautiful moment while hiding the repeated cost. It can bring back the warmth while minimizing the confusion. It can make the old field appear safer than it was. When nostalgia rises, honor the memory and ask for the whole truth. What else happened? What did my body feel? What pattern repeated? What did it cost me? A mature heart can remember beauty without returning to distortion. If what is leaving is a person, release the need to know whether they understand. Many souls remain attached because they want the other person to finally see the pain. Admit the truth, apologize properly, or confirm that you mattered. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it does not, but your freedom cannot depend on their awakening. If they are not ready to understand, their lack of understanding cannot be allowed to imprison your field. The source may be removing you from the need to be validated by the very field that wounded you. If what is leaving is a habit, treat the release as both spiritual and practical. A habit does not leave only because you declare it. Remove triggers where possible. Change routines. Create replacement actions. Ask what the habit was trying to soothe. Was it loneliness, anxiety, boredom, grief, lack of structure, fear of visibility, or exhaustion? When the root need is honored, the habit loses some of its command. The Pleiadian path is not vague. It grounds release into daily choices. If what is leaving is a dream, ask whether the essence of the dream is still alive in another form. Sometimes the source removes the form, but preserves the essence. You may lose one route to love, but not love. One version of success, but not purpose. One project structure, but not the message. One imagined future, but not the blessing hidden inside the desire. Do not assume that a form leaving means the essence is denied. The higher field may be returning the essence in a cleaner vessel. If what is leaving is an identity, be especially gentle. Identities do not dissolve without tenderness. The one who always helped, the one who never needed anything, the one who stayed quiet, the one who performed strength, the one who accepted crumbs, the one who made pain meaningful by calling it destiny. These identities may have protected you. Thank them. Say, you helped me survive, but you do not have to lead anymore. The new self must not be built through hatred of the old self. It must be built through integration. The source is removing what no longer fits because your energy is needed elsewhere. This is a crucial truth. Release is not only about stopping harm. It is about making life force available for the mission. Love, creativity, healing, body, home, and peace that are trying to enter. Every expired attachment consumes attention. Every unresolved loop drains imagination. Every old role uses energy that could become creation. When something leaves, energy returns. At first, it may feel like emptiness. Later, it becomes capacity. You may notice that the removal changes your appetite for certain conversations. You may no longer want to discuss the same pain, analyze the same person, repeat the same story, or explain the same wound. This is a sign that your field is leaving the old narrative. Let it happen. You are not betraying the past by no longer rehearsing it. Healing does not require constant retelling. At some point, the soul says, I understand enough to move differently now. The Pleiadian Collective asks you to protect the early space after release. Do not fill it too quickly. After something leaves, the old self may rush to replace it with another attachment, another distraction, another person, another obsession, another project, another source of noise. But the space is sacred. It needs time to clear. It needs time to stabilize. It needs time for your body to remember its own rhythm. Let the space exist. The new cannot enter cleanly if the room is immediately crowded again. This is also a time to watch for old energies trying to return. When something is being removed, it may make one final attempt to reclaim access. A message, a memory, a sudden temptation, a dream, an apology, a fear, a craving. This does not always mean the old thing belongs. Sometimes it is only testing whether the old agreement still has your signature. Pause before reopening. Ask, is this returning with transformation, or returning because I am withdrawing energy? The answer matters. If it returns with transformation, there will be evidence. Accountability, changed behavior, respect for boundaries, clean communication, peace in the body. If it returns without transformation, it may only be the same cycle wearing urgency. Do not let urgency override discernment. What is truly aligned can withstand a grounded pace. What is manipulative often demands immediate access. Let time reveal the frequency. You may also feel a sudden desire to clean, delete, organize, donate, rearrange, or simplify. Follow this gently. Physical clearing supports energetic clearing. Remove objects that keep your body tied to a field that is complete. Clear digital spaces. Archive old messages if needed. Change the environment so the nervous system understands that the old timeline is not being worshipped in the present. You do not need to erase everything with anger. You can clear with reverence. The removal may involve relationships that were not entirely bad. This can be the hardest kind. If someone was cruel, release may feel obvious. But what about the person who loved you sometimes? The place that held both joy and pain? The habit that soothed you before it trapped you? The dream that inspired you before it became too small? The Pleiadian field teaches that something does not need to be entirely dark to be complete. Mixed things can still be finished. Partial goodness does not always mean future alignment. You may need to release guilt for letting something leave. Guilt may say, "But they need me. But I promised. But I should be stronger. But I should forgive again. But what if I am wrong?" Listen gently, then return to truth. Are you staying from love or fear? From alignment or obligation? From peace or guilt? The Source is not asking you to be careless. The Source is asking you to stop confusing guilt with guidance. True guidance may challenge you, but it does not require chronic self-abandonment. There is a sacred discipline in not reaching backward when the field moves forward. You may have moments when your hand wants to reach for the old pattern, the old message, the old comfort, the old person, the old search, the old memory. In that moment, pause. Breathe for 90 seconds. Let the wave move through the body. Often the urge is not the truth of the soul. It is the nervous system seeking familiarity. When the wave passes, ask what you truly need. Comfort, rest, expression, connection, clarity, movement, or reassurance. Give the need a healthier form. The Source is removing what no longer fits, but you are still invited to participate. Do not make the higher field do through crisis what you can do through honesty. If you already know a pattern is complete, choose release before the pattern becomes more painful. If you already know a conversation is needed, speak. If you already know a habit is draining you, restructure. If you already know a boundary must be set it. Participation turns removal into conscious transition rather than chaotic collapse. The Pleiadian field asks you to trust that the leaving is making room for a more coherent life. Coherence means your energy, words, choices, relationships, work, body, and spiritual knowing begin moving in the same direction. Incoherence is exhausting because one part of you says yes while another part says no. One part stays while another part wants out. One part believes while another part feels the truth. When incoherent things leave, your life may become simpler, but also stronger. Simplicity is not emptiness. It is alignment without unnecessary fragmentation. You may realize that what is leaving was connected to an old wound of being chosen. Perhaps you clone because losing it felt like not being chosen again. But the new field is teaching you that being chosen by yourself is not a consolation prize. It is a foundation. When you choose your peace, your body, your truth, and your future, you stop begging expired fields to choose you back. The Source can bring aligned love and support, but you must stop treating misaligned access as proof of worth. There is also a blessing hidden in removal, the return of spiritual hearing. When the field is crowded with expired attachments, inner guidance becomes faint. You cannot hear the next instruction because the old noise is too loud. As things leave, you may begin sensing more clearly. Dreams become sharper. Intuition becomes cleaner. The body becomes easier to read. Peace becomes more noticeable. This is not accidental. The removal is restoring the channel. The ultimate revelation is this: it is leaving now because the agreement that once held it in your field has expired. You have learned enough from that pattern, role, attachment, habit, or identity. The source is not taking your future. The source is removing what was blocking your ability to receive it. The empty space is not evidence that you have less. It is evidence that your field is being prepared for what can finally fit the soul you are becoming. You do not need to bless the leaving with perfect calm. You may cry. You may feel afraid. You may question yourself. You may miss what is complete. This is human. Let the heart be human. But do not let the heart's grief reopen every door the soul has lovingly closed. Grief needs compassion, not reversal. Fear needs comfort, not control. Longing needs tenderness, not a return to distortion. Walk gently, but keep walking. Tonight, before sleep, place one hand over your heart and say softly, I allow the source to remove what no longer fits my field. I release the grip of fear, guilt, nostalgia, and expired attachment. I receive the Pleiadian light codes that help me trust the clearing, call my energy back, and prepare space for what is aligned. I bless what has taught me, and I release what cannot come with my next frequency. Speak slowly. Let the words become a gate through which the old energy can leave without violence. In the days ahead, watch what falls away naturally when you stop forcing it to stay. Watch what your body feels after the distance grows. Watch what returns with transformation and what returns only with urgency. Watch what new clarity appears in the space. Watch how your energy changes when you stop feeding the expired field. These are signs that the removal is not random. It is intelligent. It is protective. It is guided. So when you hear, the source is removing what no longer fits, receive the purified meaning. Let it mean that your field is being cleared by love. Let it mean that endings can be protection. Let it mean that what leaves may have served a season, but cannot serve your next frequency. Let it mean that your body is becoming honest. Let it mean that you are not losing yourself. You are recovering yourself from what no longer carries truth. And now feel what has shifted. The leaving is not only loss, it is release. The empty space is not only absence, it is preparation. The old grip is not as strong as it seemed. Your star family is near, helping you let go without becoming hardened. Breathe. Open your hands. What cannot fit your next frequency is leaving now, and what belongs to the truth of your soul will not need to be chased, forced, begged for, or held through fear. Let it leave. Let the field clear. Let your life begin to match who you have become. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content, it's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart, open subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we're just getting started.